Well, right here I'm cooking down some pancetta because I want to give some flavor to a cream of pea soup that we're going to make. And in Italian, peas are called piselli. And this is what we're going to flavor the soup with, pancetta. This is how you buy it when you get it in the store. So we've diced this up and we've got it going here in a little bit of olive oil. So now I'm going to take this out because we're going to use the pancetta later on as the little cracklings that go on top of the soup. So you want to drain it out with a slotted spoon because now I can use the flavored oil for our onions. We want to add onions now into the pan. So let me turn the heat up a little bit. And we've got one large onion that we've diced up. So that's going to go right in to our pan. We're going to stir this around. And you know, I call this cream of pea soup, but there really is no cream in it at all. We're going to thicken this soup with an ordinary potato. So we have just a regular potato that we've just skinned. And the way to get it to cook at about the same time as the peas and also act as the thickener for the soup is to grate it. Isn't this clever? Sometimes when you're in the kitchen, you have to think of new and innovative ways to help you get your cooking done a whole lot faster. And this is taking the place of the cream. It's going to thicken the soup. And that's all there is to it. So there is our potato. And now we can come back here, and these are starting to smell really nice and fragrant. So I'm going to give this a little bit of pepper and some salt. So there are our onions with salt and pepper. I'm going to turn this heat up now just a little bit more. And I'm going to add the grated potato. So in goes the potato. And we're going to move this around. And with this, to give this a little bit more flavor, we're going to take a bouillon cube. This is just a regular bouillon cube. It's a little larger than what you normally get in the grocery store because when I go to Italy, I like to bring back bouillon cubes there, but an ordinary box of bouillon cubes that you can get in your grocery store is just as good. So I crush this up raw into the pan just to help flavor those onions. And just move that around. And now we're going to add our peas, frozen peas. This soup takes very little time to do. So we have about, 5 or 6 cups of frozen peas. And they can go frozen directly into this, or you can defrost them if you want to. Give them a good stir. And then you want to add some water to cover. So enough water to cover the peas. And you're going to let this cook for about 10-15 minutes. We're going to add some thyme with this. This is fresh thyme. Use fresh, don't use dried, because dried herbs really have no good flavor. They have a lot of medicinal flavors, but they don't have their oils. And you want to take the thyme off the stem just by pushing it off the leaf. And here we have about 3 tablespoons of fresh thyme. So that's going to go in, and that's going to give us a nice flavor. And stir this around, and we're going to let this go. So I'm going to put a cover on that just to help get that going. I don't want to cover it completely because I don't want to lose my nice green flavor. And in this little pan right here, I've got some butter. And what I want to do there is brown up some bread. So you want to use some good bread, like a sourdough type, a good country loaf that has a nice tight crumb. This is just going to act as a little side to go with the soup and those little croutons that we made out of the pancetta. So some butter melting in a pan, and you put the little bread slices in and you just watch them and let them go. So we'll keep our eye on that while we're making our soup. Well, this is looking great. This is looking really good. I'm going to take the bread out first, because then I think we can puree that. So let me take my bread slices out, turn this off, take the bread slices out onto a dish lined with paper. So you want to dry those off a little bit from the butter. And those are going to become our little croutons for later on. All right, now to puree the soup, make way because I'm going to turn this off. This is actually cooked right now. Told you, peas don't take very long at all. I'll put the cover right back on that so I can get that going to a boil. So I'm going to turn this off and take this right over here with a, I know my hands are good and hot for hot things, but not that good. Okay, bring it right over here. And now I get out my trusty wand. This is a great way to do this. And it keeps the soup not only beautifully pureed, but it looks nice and green. So if you don't have a wand like this in your kitchen, well, you can do this in a food processor, but you're going to have to do it in batches. Do it in batches because if you put too much in a food processor, it will kind of seep out the bottom. And of course, as you're doing this, you're going to want to taste it. Make sure that it's salty enough, not too salty. Okay, cream of pea soup. And now we're just going to put this right back on the burner and save that for later.